All right, family, it's your brother Asad.
And I'm Adrian.
And we are back again with another quick video. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe and hit that notifications bell so that you'll be notified when we drop new material on this channel. Secondly, in terms of housekeeping, I got to give a special and a significant and a particular and a peculiar shout out to my South African family for all the love you guys have shown this channel. My wife, myself, my children. We greatly appreciate it. Third, in terms of housekeeping, bam, 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 just like that. Bam, 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 just like that. Today is Africa Day. Africa Day 2023. Say it with me. Africa Day 2023. Right. So, this is our first Africa Day, and here's what we want y'all to do. So the AU, right, said that there is a special prompt. This is what you should be thinking about on Africa Day. The African Union said this is what you should be thinking about on Africa Day. What is your vision for the future of Africa?
What is your vision?
I'm going to say it one more again. What is your vision with where there is no vision? That's what the Bible say. The Bible say where there is no vision, the people perish. So we got to have vision. So the African Union says, what is your vision for the future of Africa? Let me put my arm up so I can hold that.
You animated today.
So in the comments, please leave your vision for the future of Africa. Henceforth, in the future. All right. So henceforth. So in perpetuity.
They didn't put a time limit on it.
Nah, I didn't put no time. Yeah.
You could have a long vision.
You could talk about. See, that's the game. Our European brothers and sisters, and our Asian brothers and sisters, they often we think tomorrow. We think tomorrow. They think 2 generations ahead. Right? Oftentimes, right? So they're thinking about what are my how the world going to look for my great grandchildren. Some of them. There's some of them they're thinking tomorrow too. Yeah. So we don't want to just modify them and edify them in them type of ways. But so leave it in the comments and we're going to talk about our vision.
Our vision
for Africa.
But first, talk a little bit about Africa Day. You know?
Well, it was started by the AU.
Honestly, I was not aware of Africa Day until I moved here.
Facts.
And I was like, and the kids were talking about it's Africa Day at school and we got to do this. And I was like, well, what is Africa Day?
And for those who watched the last video and want to know what Aiden took, we made some jambalaya.
We did.
We made some jambalaya for his Africa Day celebration at school. And we gave him a history. Well, he knows his history. He knows his. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. See, my mama told me, she said, when you practice bad English, it'll become a habit. And then when it's time to use correct English, my mama was a teacher, English teacher. Like, I really do know correct English.
And you fumbling through it.
And I just be blah, 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 using all kind of bad language. But that's all right. When I know how to code switch. Y'all know about code switching?
Switch it up.
No. I'm with my people right now.
Man, let's get
These
through
my
it.
people. All right.
Africa Day.
Africa Day. So the African Union started Africa Day, I guess, as a way to commemorate. I don't know. How did it go? Was it end of apartheid and colonial? Not the end of apartheid, but the fight against apartheid and colonialism.
Yeah.
So this is about 20 years old now?
It's 20 years. I don't know when they created Africa Day.
Okay.
But I know that the AU was formed in the common fight against colonialism and apartheid, and now they are wanting to switch gears, right, towards prosperity and building bridges and economic development for the African continent. And Africa Day itself, I'm not sure when they first started celebrating it, but that's the point of the day.
But I think it's a phenomenal idea.
It is phenomenal.
Because it's one way, since it's celebrated all over the continent, I'm assuming even in Morocco.
And even in some other parts of the world, too.
Okay,
On the 25th of May.
Yeah. You know, unfortunately, the 25th of May is also today is the 3rd year of the death of George Floyd. So which is this strange irony, this very curious coincidence that Africa Day is founded or used
Celebrated.
as a way to remember the fight against colonialism and apartheid. And still in the United States, just 3 years ago, they murdered a man live, an African man live on TV.
Social media.
Well, social media, but they played it all over the world.
They did.
They played it all over the world. So,
They did.
it's a strange irony that it's a strange reminder, a vivid reminder that the fight must continue. Right? That the struggle continues. So, what is our vision for Africa in the future and perpetuity henceforth?
I'd love to see a prosperous Africa.
Facts.
Like growing, economically strong, more unified than it is today. I know that's a struggle, but
Right.
you know, it
Right.
is. Less conflict. You know. What about you?
I think that my vision for the future of Africa, I speak as the official diasporan representative.
This is an unelected position. I was appointed.
Self-appointed. Self-appointed. Like most of y'all preachers and pastors. Oh, man, but I think that I would like to see Africa where the diaspora is actively engaged. Now, as I always say, just in the United States alone, there's 40 million African Americans. We all ain't moving back to Africa, right? But there's 80 million Afro-Brazilians. We got all of the Caribbean, Haiti, Central and South America. We know African Americans, right? We know African Americans because we sing and dance and we be on TV, right? We may know the Jamaicans because of Bob Marley and reggae music. But there's 80 million Afro-Brazilians, right? 80 million. So I would like to see a diaspora of the future of Africa with a diaspora that is fully engaged in the affairs and the economic affairs and the cultural affairs and the educational affairs and the scientific affairs of the continent. Let us be re-engaged with our homeland. Not necessarily home country. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Because we don't know that. But we know that this entire continent produced us.
Yeah.
So
we have to be Pan-African for that reason.
Right.
You know, I think sometimes you hear people a little negative on the Pan-African movement or that ideology.
Right.
But, you know.
Let me see if I can get it like this.
Africans
all right, boom.
in the diaspora have to be Pan-Africanists because we have so much mixture. Oh,
Lord.
Let me let you get it together.
I got it. I got it.
But we have so much mixture in our own DNA and in our families of many types of Africans that you can't point to a particular country.
The thing about it is the idea of listen. Let me see if I can phrase this in a very articulate manner. The very idea of Pan-Africanism is manifested in the existence of African Americans and Africans who are descendants of slaves. How is this so? When you check our DNA, it doesn't just come from Ghana. It doesn't just come from Nigeria. I had DNA, the slave traders went all the way around the Cape of Good Hope and went to Mozambique. So when your DNA carries DNA from West Africa, from South Africa, from Central Africa, we are Pan-Africanism manifested. The personification of Pan-Africanism. So we have to be that way in our orientation. Otherwise, we would be operating against our own self-interest, against our very own DNA. Think about that. So, anything else we want to talk about on? Yeah, so my arm was hurting. I had to switch up.
One day we're actually going to
get a
invest in what we need to invest in.
Hey,
So that
listen,
we don't have to keep
my phone cracked
doing
up.
this.
Y'all don't understand. We do this because we love talking with y'all and engaging and just laughing and having a good time.
Yes.
If you see my phone got about my phone looked like a what you call them tiles? Them
I don't know. Does it look like mine now that you?
yeah, well, yeah. I didn't do that to your phone.
I mean, you did the other day. Like, take the rest off and then crack it.
I mean, look, if I show y'all her phone, it's peeling. Her phone is peeling. I was like, go and take the rest of that off. Well, it's like,
No, the whole thing looks terrible instead of that tiny little corner.
I'm like, look, take that off, because she couldn't even touch on the screen because it was peeling. I was like, just rip that off. Why are you holding on to that? My phone looked like fish scales. So one day when we get us some money, we go actually
shatter a window or something.
yeah, you know, like you shut a car window. Yeah, we shut a car window and it just break up in a little piece. That's how my phone look, y'all. So,
Yeah.
so
But back
I'm.
to the topic at hand.
Oh yeah, my bad.
African Union. So you're talking about a fully engaged diaspora.
Bam, just like that. Bam, bam, bam.
So what are we doing towards seeing that vision come true? I think one major step you and I have made is we decided to move here and raise our children on this continent.
Right, right.
So that they can develop an even stronger relationship
To
with
the
Africans
continent.
and to this continent.
Right, and the thing about it, if we had to leave and go back tomorrow, God forbid,
God forbid.
astaghfirullah, if we had to leave and go back tomorrow, our children have a totally different perception. So I didn't get a chance to talk with y'all about meeting with the Morehouse. So the Oprah Winfrey Scholars came to so the Morehouse. So Morehouse is an all male African American college, HBCU in the United States. And Oprah Winfrey has this program. She has the female scholars and she has the male scholars. So the male scholars came to visit last Friday, I believe. And I had the opportunity to meet with them and talk with these young brothers. Man, listen, sometimes I'm hard on the black male. Sometimes I'm hard on the black male because I know our potential. And just talking to these brothers, I was just so encouraged by the future, about the future, because these brothers were smart, they were articulate, they were assertive, they had ideas, and they young, they 19, 20, 21, you know, but I was just very impressed. But here's the thing. I talked to these brothers and I had them in the, you know, over at the center. I gave them the rundown of what we're doing at the center, how I came to South Africa, whatever have you. I said, now look, y'all have any questions for me? They asked me a few questions. Whoop-de-whoop. So then I said, I got some questions for y'all. What did you think about Africa before coming here? Now, this is 2023. These people are 18, 19 years old, right? Some of them 20, right? And they said, one of the brothers said, I didn't know they had cities before coming here. You see what I mean?
I don't blame him though.
No. This is an intelligent brother. But even an intelligent brother, that's how strong the propaganda, that's how strong the indoctrination is, right? But my point of bringing up that is to say that my children don't have that indoctrination, right? If they had it, it has been thoroughly debunked since moving here. And I think that is the importance of having the diaspora engagement. You know, there was this conversation, man, at the Morehouse event later on that night. We had dinner.
But wait. Before you move on.
Go.
It's important because if you have this idea of Africa as being backwards or behind or slow, that mean that you have an idea. It's a reflection of you.
Yo, that's what I was going with it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's where I was going with it. No. Preach, preacher.
But it is. If you think that about Africa and you know that that's your origin, then what do you think about yourself?
Why would you be proud to be an African American when you think that Africa is the jungle or everyone is in poverty and all of that type of stuff? Right?
And you got white people, go back to Africa if you don't like that.
So now that they've come, here's the beauty. Now that they've come and they have experienced they've been to Joburg. They left to go to Cape Town. They went to Pretoria or whatever. So this is the Oprah Winfrey Scholars is focused on South Africa. So now that they have come and experienced, they walked around Wits, saw all the students and the people moving and said, "Oh, this is a beautiful university." So all of that. We went to dinner at Waterfall Country Estates at their little clubhouse, right? So they got to ride through the community like, God dog, right? So now when they go back to the United States, whether they ever set foot in Africa again, their perception and more importantly, the misperception of the continent of Africa has been thoroughly challenged by their own personal experience. And you can't beat personal experience. You can't beat their personal experience. Now when they go home, they be like, "Oh, no. Africa ain't what you think."
Right.
Excuse me. Africa ain't what you think. When they're talking to the other classmates. And so one of the things that I told them was like, listen, I don't know if all of you guys are going to try to move to the continent. But what I want you to understand, they're in Atlanta. Atlanta's considered the black Mecca. A lot of money is flowing through Atlanta. A lot of jobs and opportunity are flowing through Atlanta. But what that also means is that a whole lot of black people keep moving to Atlanta. And pretty soon that becomes saturated, right? So I want them to think like, man, I graduate in a year. I graduate in 2 years. Maybe I don't have to just keep my goals on moving to Atlanta or moving to Dallas. Maybe I can think about Johannesburg, or maybe I can think about Nairobi, or even if you don't. So as much as we want them to come back to the continent, there's a big old world out there. And too many African Americans in particular have not taken advantage of the fact that we have free movement throughout the world, and that there are opportunities outside of our neighborhood, outside of our hometown, outside of the country. So I was just encouraged, and I was like, listen, brothers, try to make your way back to the continent. Try to make your way back if you have an idea. And I was like, listen, the idea that you may have for a startup may cost you $100,000 in the U.S. And that's a major hindrance. You're like, where I'm gonna get $100,000?
Because the banks aren't giving.
They're not gonna give it to you. They'll give it to you to go to school.
That interest rate gonna kill you.
But in South Africa, it may only cost you $30,000.
Right.
So now you have the opportunity. This look dark right here. Let me see.
Yeah, the sun changed.
The sun changed on. So now you have the opportunity to start that business in South Africa, or maybe in Nairobi, or maybe in Lagos, or anywhere across the continent, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's what we're doing.
That's
our
what
little part.
That's our part. Our part is this YouTube channel.
The YouTube channel. That's
and
our
trying
part.
to encourage people. We get hundreds of emails about people just saying thank you. Oh, I want to visit South Africa.
Right,
At
right.
first, let me move this way. Let me see. Right. All right. There we go. There we go. I was looking like OJ on the cover of Time. You remember when they darkened them? I don't know if y'all remember that.
I don't remember.
No, see, my mind be on some other stuff. But anyway, so so many people approach us via email and say, I want to visit South Africa now because I've watched your channel, or and even I've had people say, I just know I want to move from one place to another because I watched your channel and the stuff that you've done with your family or whatever have you. And I just thank God that we are able to be any type of positive inspiration in the world. If we can make people laugh, talk loud, laugh loud, eat, drink, and be merry, then I have done my part. Mahalia Jackson said, if I can help somebody along the way, Lord have mercy, then my living will not have been in vain.
Can I say one more thing before we close up? So I met with a good friend, Kelly. Do you remember Kelly?
Shout out to Kelly. Yeah,
Kelly
yeah.
was here. I'm so glad she reached out and we were able to meet in person. But Kelly said she talked with a real estate agent here, an Indian woman, who was telling her about the increase in the amount of Americans, Black Americans, who are buying properties in Joburg. She was like, it's amazing. She said something about the data.
Y'all done messed up. They go to the neighborhood.
The data surpasses anything they've seen in the last 30 years. So what's happening? It's a movement. So if you want to move, be about it.
Are you ready for a bunch of gold teeth?
That's not happening. That's not who's moving here. That's not who's moving here. Stop.
Pants sagging. Oh, let me stop. I'm just playing. That's my people.
That's not who's moving here.
It's not.
That's what if it's the move you want to make, I think start making your plans and your moves, because I'm hearing this in different countries where there's a large enough population of us, Accra and Ghana, even Tanzania. There's a lot happening. A lot of people moving, making moves, buying up stuff. Rwanda, Uganda.
We talked about George Floyd.
Costs are going up.
And George Floyd's death was tragic. But here's the beauty in the tragedy. Even within the tragedy, there is something beautiful. That death being broadcast to the entire world, and Black Americans experiencing this trauma for weeks, because they played that video all over, right? For weeks. It really, and the time that it happened, when we were all on lockdown, we didn't have distractions of work to go to work and just kind of, get caught up in doing your job and forget about it. You wasn't dropping kids off at school. You just had time to sit there and really meditate and sit with this. Let it marinate, right? For a minute. And that death woke a whole lot of African Americans up and said, God damn it, I'm tired of this. I gotta find me somewhere to be.
That and Donald Trump.
Donald Trump, well, he coming back. He coming back.
If he don't come back, you better hope it's Trump and not DeSantis.
Hey, listen.
That's the wake up
The choices between Trump and DeSantis, they gonna give me Trump.
Man,
I know Trump.
DeSantis is crazy as hell.
DeSantis want to out Trump. Trump just want to be Trump.
Right.
Give me Trump.
DeSantis trying to go extra ham.
Yeah. So, but that death woke a lot of people up, and if you noticed, it was during that time that a lot of YouTubers popped up, moving to the continent, and then their numbers started to increase because people were paying attention. Like, where can I go? Right? For so long, Black Americans thought we had nowhere to go. So we just had to stay and deal with the oppression. We had to stay and deal, and that go back to Africa stuff. That was the threat. You don't like it? Go back to Africa.
They did just.
They would tell us that stuff, and the reason why it was problematic, the reason why it was issued like a threat, was because we felt we had no place on the continent. And now that lie, that shameful, devilish lie, has been shattered, we're seeing our people wake up, man, and they're moving. They're making their ways, and I think it's beautiful. So my vision for the future of Africa, I want to see Africa where we have diasporans and continental Africans, or Africans who never left, building businesses together, marrying each other,
having a refuge, having a safe place,
right?
A home,
having a home
in a hostile world.
Facts.
For Black people.
That's true. It's a hostile world for Black people, and having somewhere where we can go, where we can find peace. That's why we are here, all jokes aside. Because here, with South Africa, with all of its problems, all of the load shedding, y'all talk about all the crime, all of the everything.
Water
outages, power outages, all that. It offers peace. And you can't put a price on that. You can't put a price on peace when you have lived historically as a group of people for 400 years without knowing peace. Without knowing peace. So we
Happy
here.
Africa Day, y'all.
Big old factuals. All right, peace.